Hello there. Got another video for you today. Before I turn in, had to share this because it's such a big issue. One of my colleagues is actually really into medicine with adolescents, and it's a big thing with her, and I can understand why. So having teenage girls concerned about their weight is something to be looking and aware beyond just, is it okay just to be having them concerned about their weight, or is there something more to it? Because it can definitely cause ill. I'm talking potential bulimia, anorexia. By all means, it's not the case in the majority of the situations, I hope, but in the cases that there are more serious, it definitely needs to be approached and discussed with the adolescent, and definitely build the trust up. So, and if you start seeing signs of, how do I look in front of the mirror, or I'm not gaining, they're not eating, or they're not eating well, or they start changing their diet or their lifestyle or their clothing, or their friends, or they're more quiet, I think there's something to watch. It could be a trend that could be going downhill fast. So I think if you catch it in the early times and you have a heart-to-heart discussion with the girl, typically girls, then I think it's going to be a very useful discussion. So why do I bring this up now? Well, first, I've seen quite a few anorexic and bulimic girls while training to be a physician, and while I was a physician as well. And I think it's important to bring some things here to heart. And I got an email today, and I don't know the situation. I've never met this girl, but I do know that the potential here of ill health is actually there. I mean, she didn't pass her physical to make the cross country team, so she's 16 years old and she's not menstruating, and the doctors want to put her on birth control pills to get her menstruating and to get her estrogen levels up. So while I agree with her getting her estrogen levels up, I don't agree with her having to start menstruating, because if she is not healthy enough to run on a cross-country team, why is she healthy enough to bleed every single month and lose valuable iron and countless other nutrients? She's just deficient. So I think if you're causing somebody to bleed and they're deficient, you're going to cause serious harm. So I mean, if you think about it, why would Mother Nature want a woman to get pregnant, or be ovulating, or have the potential to get pregnant, if she is not strong enough to even have a period? So to me, this child is very malnourished, on her own decision, not due to the parents by any means, but it could be just pure incidental and accidental. The child she's still eating fish. I'm reading a letter, by the way. She's a vegetarian about a year ago. And she was restricting her calorie intake, thinking that she would become faster as she became skinnier. So I can see that. I mean, that's the potential. I mean, if you're lighter, you're quicker and more agile, but the skinnier you are, the less fuel storage you have and being able to sprint. So you got to have some fuel storage, otherwise you're going to be destroying your proteins from your muscles, and you're going to be breaking down your proteins from your muscles, and that's going to make you weaker in time. So if you don't eat protein, where are you going to get the protein for fuel? Well, your muscles and your intestines and other places in your body are going to suffer, but mainly your intestines first, and then probably your muscle. Well, not probably, actually your muscles second. So you got to eat the protein. If you're an athlete, you got to eat the protein. The same 0.4 grams of protein per pound of body weight, 0.36 if you want to be anal about it. So having said that, I think another thing here, her body mass index is good, so that's great. So she's bulimic anorexic is doesn't seem to be a factor here. Blood pressure is on the low normal range. So blood pressure on the low normal range, a lot of doctors saying, oh, that's great. But to me, if it's a low normal, I'm seeing adrenal insufficiency all over the place. Boost the adrenals in this child. How do you boost the adrenals? Well, protein. Eat. And reduce stresses in life and get them to sleep and not exercise as hard. So they got to rest, they got to eat, and they have to take nutrients, magnesium, vitamin B6, pantothenic acid, fantastic for adrenal insufficiency. As a 16-year-old, I would say 2 grams probably twice a day. I mean, this is just, I'm shooting from the hip here, but given the safety of pantothenic acid, it's not a problem. I mean, pantothenic acid toxicity, you could look it up, it's very, very low. So I would highly recommend pantothenic acid twice a day, about 2 grams, which is 4 capsules in the morning, 4 capsules in the evening with the Seeking Health brand, my company's pantothenic acid. And for her protein levels, let's see, what else did she say here? Considering bone loss, yeah, I mean, if her body is not making enough estrogen, she's not going to be ovulating, because it's estrogen which triggers the ovulation cycle. You get actually an estrogen spike which triggers ovulation. So her body is not doing that, and I think it's doing that, you know, it's not doing it to protect her, but that's just how the physiology and endocrinology of her system is working currently. So she needs to get more cholesterol in her diet. Since estrogen is a cholesterol-based hormone, she needs to get some more oils. Fish oils, fantastic. Essential fatty acids, krill oil, coconut oil, great. Olive oil, also good. Vegetable oils, I'd stay away from, not a fan. But coconut oil, fish oil, krill oil are great. She's eating fish. You know, just don't eat GMO salmon. God, I can't believe I can't believe the FDA allowed that now. But anyway, we're going to get monster ugly fish. So keep looking at the time, because I only have 15 minutes with YouTube. So soon they'll give me an hour, I hope. But maybe it's best for you that I do it in 15 minutes. So fish oil to boost up the cholesterol. I'd also, for labs, I would be looking at serum ferritin. How's her iron store? Yes, she's not anemic on the papers, but I would bet that her iron levels are low. And a great way to check that is to have your doctor check your serum ferritin. Her DHEA levels, I'd have them check that as well. That's also a precursor to a lot of hormones. I'm not saying supplement with DHEA, especially in a 16-year-old, but I would definitely look it up with the blood test. Salivary cortisol, given that her blood pressure is low, I'd do a salivary 24-hour cortisol test, and yes, it is pretty effective. And if you do 24-hour, you can see the lows and the highs and see if it's consistent or what have you. But cortisol should be naturally high in the morning and should be naturally lower in the evening. So if it's not, if it's flatline, just low all the time, you know, her adrenals are shot. You know, if it's reversed, her cortisol is low in the morning, she's not getting up out of bed very well. If it's high in the evening, she's not able to sleep. She's a night owl. So it's part of my problem. I love staying up at night, but partly with having 3 kids, you don't have much time to yourself to do research. So, you know, it's okay in this situation. So what else? To me, I don't think giving the pill is a great solid situation here, because if you're forcing estrogen with a pill, you're promoting potential cancer risk. Well, not if it's low, but I don't think it's a good idea. It's going to deplete nutrients. Folic acid is depleted. There's B vitamins that are depleted. There's side effects from it, and she's not deficient in a birth control pill, folks. She's deficient in cholesterol, likely. She's deficient in adrenals. She's likely deficient in nutrients, and she's deficient in essential fatty acids, and she's deficient in protein probably, and she possibly is potentially deficient in iron. So, you know, these things are important to look at. Thyroid, if her adrenals are shot, her thyroid is shot. So you can't be treating the thyroid without supporting the adrenals, because if you support the thyroid without the adrenals, it's going to cause a thyroid crash even harder. So you always address the adrenals first. Pantothenic acid is just a godsend for the adrenals. That's what it loves, vitamin B5. So do that. Fish oils we talked about. Protein. So protein needs to be given every couple hours to a girl like this, or actually all of us, 2 to 3 hours. I'm not saying chow a huge steak or an entire fish every 2 to 3 hours. I'm saying just have a handful. Actually, your hand is about the portion of protein that you should have every day, or every couple hours. So, or every, well, you can cut it in half, because I think you should have that portion about 3 times a day. But given that you should be eating protein more often than that, I think it's important to just have some form of guideline. So maybe half a fist or so. But great sources of protein are fish. Salmon is great. I stay away from tuna. Let's see what else. Egg whites are top of the chart. Whey protein is top of the chart. Just don't get a whey protein that's full of garbage, fructose, sucrose, corn syrup, flow agents like magnesium stearates, additives, flavorings. It's all bad news. So Whey Slim by Seeking Health has got L-carnitine, which is helps mobilize fat into the fat burning cycle, and then also helps work with the whey protein isolate is actually non-GMO, and it's antibiotic free, hormone free. So, and it's 14 grams per scoop, and it tastes great. There's no flavorings in it, so you can mix it with whatever you want. So I'd put a scoop of that in filtered water along with a cup of the frozen blueberries, that'd be nice, blueberries, and some fish oil, and whip it up, and you can put a touch of honey in there if you want, or maple syrup. I'd stay away from agave. Agave is actually highly processed like corn syrup. So, and what else did I write here? So I wrote back, so vitamin D3 is important because vitamin D3 is, it's all over our body actually. I think vitamin D3 is the only vitamin that is on every single cell. It has there's a receptor on every single cell in our human body for vitamin D3. TSH, you should look at it, T3 and T4, just out of curiosity. It may be low because if she's this fatigued and she can't run, it might be lower than normal, but it's probably not a good idea to be supporting a young child with thyroid, especially without addressing her adrenals first. Pantothenic acid, rest, food, cholesterol containing foods will help bring up her adrenals. So celiac disease is extremely common. Just because it comes back negative doesn't mean that she doesn't have gliadin sensitivity or gluten sensitivity. So I recommend trying out 2 weeks with gluten-free diet, or at least a wheat-free diet, since gluten is highly found in wheat, the most of all the grains. So eliminate the wheat for 2 weeks just to see how she feels, because if she's eating a lot of gluten, it's poking holes in her intestine. Actually, all of our intestines. Nobody should eat wheat in my book. My entire family doesn't. For 3 years now, it was an extremely difficult transition, but you can do it if we can do it. So another story, another time. But the fact is with gluten, if she has problems in her intestine, she's not going to be absorbing the nutrients. If she has problems absorbing, she's not going to be absorbing the amino acids. If she's not absorbing the amino acids, she's going to get protein deficient. You know, her muscles are not going to be strong enough, and she's going to get fatigued. And if her digestion is also not strong enough and absorbing enough fats, because if you have celiac or some type of inflammatory bowel disorder, you're also not going to be absorbing fats. So if you're not absorbing fats, you're not absorbing vitamin D3. So your hormones are going to be low. So it's all there. So it comes back to the source of digestion and eating very well. And if you haven't watched my #1 health tip video, I highly recommend it. It's a 15-minute presentation. Bear with the first 5 minutes of boring education, but I had to tell you what a protein was and how it's made and how the amino acids are. But then I get right into the deficiencies of amino acids and how that works and the importance of them. And so it's crucial that you watch that to get a very basis of where to start. So try to, I know she's a vegetarian, try to convince her to eat eggs or egg whites, and whey protein, Whey Slim. Yes, it's from cows. It's from cow milk. It's not like they have to kill the cow in order to get the milk, but I guess so it depends on how strict you are. I mean, respect people who are vegans and vegetarians by all means, but try to get your complete protein. And it's very difficult for a 16-year-old to get a complete protein because she's probably trying to cook herself as well. So the stuff that I recommended for her was a Probiota 12, which is 1 capsule after dinner. Probiotics should always be given after dinner. Fish oil, 2 teaspoons a day. Magnesium Plus contains magnesium and vitamin B6. That's crucial to take the amino acids that you're getting from your food to turn into neurotransmitters and a host of other things. So it's highly important that she's not deficient in magnesium and vitamin B6. And if she's an athlete, she's probably highly deficient in magnesium. Adrenal Support, pantothenic acid, 2 grams twice a day. Optimal multivitamin, 2 capsules twice a day with lunch and breakfast. And snack and L-glutamine, We'd probably do 1 scoop of L-glutamine by Seeking Health in a glass of water twice a day between meals, so her enterocytes and her intestines absorb that so they are healed. And let me know what you think. Comments below, I'll answer, and I gotta shut her down. Till then, talk to you later. Hope this was helpful for you.